Chapter 10. Dr. Gage turned the SUV around, and they raced away from the tornado. He punched 911 on his phone. A woman's voice came over the speaker. 911, what's your emergency? This is Dr. Norman Gage. I'm a storm chaser, and there's a massive tornado on the ground in southwest of Joplin. It could be a mile wide, and it's rain-wrapped and almost impossible to see. People need to be warned right away. Dex's heart pounded. Had he heard right? Could a tornado really be 1 mile wide? If the tornado kept going in the same direction, it would wipe out some of the most crowded parts of the city. Dex's school, the St. John's Hospital complex, Dex's church, all the stores and supermarkets and fast food restaurants that lined South Line Road, and Dex's neighborhood. The wind shook the windows of the SUV, and the air was filled with leaves, branches, and black roof shingles. This is a huge tornado and very strong, Dr. Warren Gage. Please get the sirens going. He hung up with the 911 operator and handed the phone to Dex. Call your parents, he said. Tell them both to take cover and to spread the word. Dex glanced at the time. It was almost 5:40. Were they home from the graduation yet? With shaking hands, Dex called home. All he got was the fast, busy signal. Same thing when he tried his mom's cell and then Dad's. Was cell service cut off? Just then, a piercing shriek ran through the air. Finally, the tornado sirens. Was it too late? And would people pay attention? Would Mom and Dad know to run to the basement? Would Zeke go with him? His dog hated it down there. How many people in Joplin knew what was coming? It was now pouring rain, and the gray clouds were completely invisible. The massive tornado was about to hit Joplin, and no one could see it. Dr. Gage's terrifying words came back to Dax. Black walls of death. The wind was getting stronger and gusting in howling breaths. Trees swayed back and forth. A huge limb broke off and flew across the street. Dax noticed a new color on the radar map. Pink. Dr. Gage, he said softly, what are those pink dots? They were scattered across the red blobs like sprinkles. Dr. Gage glanced at the screen, his face dim. Debris, he answered finally. Debris. It took Dex a few minutes to get it. Those pink dots were pieces of houses and buildings and cars that had been sucked thousands of feet into the sky. Dex's eyes flooded with tears. Joplin. His city was being torn to pieces. Dr. Gage picked up the handset of his ham radio, which would work even when cell service was out. Jimmy, Sarah, you there? There was a loud crackle, and then Sarah's voice. Norm, where are ya? We're headed into Joplin. Wish you could see this. It's massive. We're following in it. Stay back, he said. It's right behind us on 20th Street. Dex gasped as he watched the telephone pole break in half and slam into the road in front of them. The wires erupted into a spray of sparks. Dr. Gage dropped the handset and hit the brakes. Norm! Sarah called. Norm! The car skidded into the rain-slicked road, and it whipped around in a circle, around and around, like a sickening carnival ride. They were heading right for a huge oak tree, and Dex braced himself for a terrible crash. The car swerved at the last minute, and they missed the tree. Instead, they plowed into the chain-link fence, breaking through the metal mesh, and finally lurching to a stop. They sat there for a moment, too stunned to speak. They were in front of Peter's garage, where Dad took his car to be fixed. A chunk of the roof, torn away, smacked into the car. The stop sign shot past them like an arrow. The wind was really howling now. Branches and roof shingles swirled in the air. Dr. Gage slammed the SUV into reverse and tried to back up. The car was tangled inside a broken fence. The sky darkened. The winds howled with fury. Rocks and branches pounded at their windows. Jimmy's panicked voice crackled on the rainbow. Norm! Norm! But Dr. Gage was busy trying to free them from the fence. The wheels spun. The engine whined. Come on! Come on! Dr. Gage worked desperately to free the car. At last the car began to move. He'd done it. But no, it wasn't Dr. Gage who was moving the car. It was the wind. It rocked the car back and forth, up and down, and suddenly Dex's ears started to pop. There was a noise like nothing Dex had ever heard, like thousands of Black Hawk helicopters had exploded from the sky, their engines roaring, their blades whirling. The tornado had come for them.